a beautiful sourdough bread with no special equipment. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to another Sourdough Saturday. I'm Catherine, the Aerogarden homesteader. Today we are going to put everything together. We're going to start using this is a pre-ferment, so it is sourdough that I fed last night. It's been about, I fed it around 5:30 and it's 7:30 in the morning, so what's that, 14 hours? It did rise up and fall down a little bit. I did put it in the fridge for probably about an hour or two just to keep it kind of at that high level. I didn't want it to over ferment and then just end up being sour. So this is a recipe, it's the same, it's almost the same recipe I did last time, but you can do it in a loaf pan like I am, or you can do it as a boule, which is the ball that you put in a Dutch oven. I don't really like the balls because then when you're cutting it you get odd shaped pieces of bread. I like a loaf. But this is technically that same recipe. It's not really a sandwich dough recipe. It's not developed to be a nice soft sandwich dough. But I will be working on a sandwich dough recipe. I think I found one that it looked really good, so I want to try that one out. Okay, so I need 405 grams of flour. And if you watched the last recipe, I think I put in a little less flour than it called for because I was following an old recipe from an archived cookbook because I couldn't remember how I did the Polish version. So, oops. Well, it's a good thing that I didn't need that anymore. So, but it's basically going to go together the same way. So I'm going to be putting in some vital wheat gluten, and that will help my basic plain old white flour become a little more like a bread flour to make it a little stronger. So I need 45 grams of this. Probably shouldn't be sticking my hands in here. They're clean hands, I promise. Alright, 45 grams of that. So I'm going to put this in my mixing bowl because I don't like doing this by hand anymore. I don't need to, I don't have to, so I'm not going to. Okay, and I get it all up in the threads there. Okay. Zero that out. Zero that out. Let me see. I think I need, go back. So I need 13 grams of salt. There we go. And zero that out again. I need, I think it was 275 grams of water. This is kind of tepid from the tap. Came out a little warmish. Kind of cold in my kitchen, so it's probably fine to use slightly warm water. So I need 275. There you go. And in case you're wondering, if you have a measuring cup with the mLs on it, 275 is 275 grams. So 275 ml is 275 grams. That's sort of an easy cheat. I am going to get my sourdough in here. So I'm going to clean out the threads on this. I got stuff all worked up in there. Bring you over. So I'm going to get my starter in here. So this is a pre-ferment. It's also called a levain. And this one was 100 grams of flour, 100 grams of water, and 80 grams of active sourdough. I used active in mine because I wanted to make sure my sourdough was nice and healthy and ready to go. So the morning of, so yesterday morning, I fed my sourdough and had a nice pancake. Then the evening before, so yesterday evening, I made the levain, or the pre-ferment, and got it going for an overnight fermentation. So it would be ready this morning. So I'm probably going to try to do this all in one day because I don't exactly have room in my fridge right now to do a cold bulk fermentation, and I think it's just going to be a little too cold outside overnight to just chuck it outside. Okay, I'm going to get my salt diluted, not diluted, but dissolved a little bit because it is kind of a big green. And then I will get this all mixed together. Pour this off to the side. Make sure I get all the salt. Okay, so I will pause this, or I will maybe I won't pause it, but I will mute this part because you don't need to listen to this. It does get kind of loud. But I'll start it on low until it's incorporated, and then I'll increase it to a higher speed to develop all the gluten and make it a stronger bread. Okay, so you can see it's come together. It's a little sticky, it's a little shaggy. I'm going to let this sit and rest for 10 minutes, and that will help with some of the gluten development, it'll help with some of the shagginess, and then I will knead it again and get it going for its sets of stretches and folds. So, 10 minutes. Okay, so the dough has had a chance to relax, and I'm going to get it going again for some kneading time, and then I will move it to the container to do the bulk fermentations and stretches and folds. Okay, there you go. So it's still a little sticky, but you can see it's holding together a little bit better. So I'm going to move this over and get it going. So this is the container I put it in, and I oiled it up a little bit, which I'll show you how I did that. Actually a little more than I needed. Okay. And I'm just going to take a brush and I'm going to make sure I spread it all over in a really thin layer. I don't actually want oil in my dough. I just want to make sure it releases from my container when I'm doing stretches and folds. There we go. I don't know if you can actually see that it's just a light layer. Work that up the sides a little bit more. So I'm going to show you how stretches and folds work in a rectangular container. Not a huge fan of doing it in a round one, so I'll show you in a rectangular one, but you'll have seen both methods because some people have round containers and some people don't. So work with what you have. This is still a sticky dough, so it will need the stretches and folds to bring it together. And typically, so you can do anywhere from 2 to 5 of them at 1 hour intervals, so it kind of just depends on how much time you have, how well you kneaded it beforehand, and how strong the dough feels. So obviously if your dough is kind of a little lacking in strength, you probably want to do a few more, and if your dough has been kneaded really well and is looking good, then you can probably get away with less. Okay. I will see you back in an hour. I'll probably play it by ear, but normally I do 4 of them. So we will see how it comes together. I have to keep it covered just so it doesn't get a dry skin on it. Okay, clean, wet hands, stretch and fold number 1. So I'm going to loosen it up a little, just like I did before, and stretch up, fold over. So you can fold up and over, or you can do a fold underneath. I just do this on all the sides. It should start coming together and building up more strength. See, it's already starting to tighten up. Okay, there you go. Just leave that for another hour. Second. Third. Fourth. I don't think this one's going to need much. Okay, it has been 2.5 hours. I put it in the dehydrator so I could get it going. So I'm just going to put down a little bit of flour just so it doesn't stick. So yeah, by putting it in the dehydrator I could speed it up a little. But if you don't have one, room temperature will work fine. It's just a little cold in our house, that's all. Okay. So I don't want to put any flour on this bottom surface because that's the part I want to stick. So Just going to gently degas it a little, and I'm going to roll it in on itself and press it. So roll and press. Try to seal that together. And you see I didn't put down enough flour over there. And it's also very bubbly. Alright, so use a little more flour. See what happens. Just a little sticky. Alright, so I want to tuck the ends under, kind of like doing stretches and folds. And then I want to get it all to stick together. So it's okay to use flour on the outside, but try to not use it on the spots that you want to stick together. Boy, I don't think I've ever had it this sticky before. Alright, there we go. Okay, I got a oiled pan here. I'm just going to get it in there. Now I'm going to put this back in the dehydrator. I'm going to put this back in the dehydrator so that I can get it going. Okay, so I'll let that go until it comes just to the top here, because it will rise in the oven. I'll have oven spring, so just to the top. That way I don't have it sort of melting over the sides. This has been rising for about an hour and a half in my dehydrator. Now I put in a tray of water just to help keep it humidified. Tried to make it into a proofing box. That didn't really work, so don't try that. Top kind of started drying out a little bit. It's a good thing I caught it when I did. So I had to cover it. But this next part, so this has been rising an hour and a half. I don't want it to get too puffy because it will start giving it a weird shape. So I think this will be fine. It will rise up in the oven. So for this next part, we're going to need a super specialized piece of equipment, and that is our sheet of tin foil. So no Dutch oven, no extra special equipment. Now this next part I will have to decrease the volume on because this will get super crinkly. But I'm just going to fold it up around the bottom of the pan. Then I'm going to take it off the bottom of the pan, flip it over and put it on top, and create our little steam cover on the inside. So, and you could always spray a little bit of water on this if you want a little extra steam, but this is what's going to give it that nice crusty finish. So prepare for Crinkletown. Yeah, there you go. Now I normally try to reuse the foil, but my foil from last time got ripped, so that won't work. This will go in the oven at 475 for about 20 minutes, and then I will take the foil off, drop the temperature down to 425, and basically leave it in there until it's done. So that could be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. Kind of depends on your level of how brown you like it, but you definitely want to try to hit that 190 to 200 temperature inside the bread to make sure it's fully cooked inside. I will bring you back and I will show you the finished loaf. So I had a little technical difficulty getting it out of the pan, but here we go. Put a little melted butter on top to soften the crust. You can wrap it in a tea towel, which is what I like to do. Put it in a bag to steam it a little bit. I would suggest wrapping it in the tea towel before putting it in the bag because too much steam will make soggy spots. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and share. And please, please let me know if you try this recipe and how much you like it. Whether it's this one with the sourdough or if it's the Polish recipe from the last time I did a Sourdough Saturday. Let me know. Let me know what you think of these. And if you're interested in a sandwich loaf, I'll try to get one of those up too. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed so you know when my next video comes out. And I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.